What is up YouTube? My name is Happiness and welcome to my channel. So MAGAs have been angry at Coney Barrett for them saying that she has been a traitor. But despite that, let me just read from this article and then we will hear from how MAGAs feel about her being a traitor. A consecutive judge on the Supreme Court has once again sparked backlash from the far right after siding with the court liberals wing in the recent decision that went against the Trump administration. It is the second time in just a few months that Barrett has drawn sharp criticism from the MAGA crowd. In the latest case, Barrett joined a dissenting opinion in a 5-4 ruling that upheld the Trump administration use of the Alien Enemy Act, a law dated back in 1798 to the deportation accused of gang affiliation to the countries like Venezuela and El Salvador. The majority ruled that while the administration would proceed with the deportation under the act, those targeted must be afforded due process. Her decision led to a wave of outrage online, with some MAGA supporters dubbing her the Commie Barrett.
You know who's been the biggest disappointment in American history? It has been Commie Barrett. When she first got elected, I thought, oh my God, they said she was going to be the most conservative Supreme Court justice, right? But she has time and time again sided with the Democrats on the Supreme Court, the leftists on the Supreme Court. You know, they don't break rank. You know, only Republicans break rank. They always vote for the liberal agenda, regardless of the law, right? But she joins them. With Trump's, he had the permission, the right to use the Alien Act to deport illegals. And, of course, it passed. Even Justice Roberts went on the conservative side and voted that the president has the right to deport whoever he wants to deport. But she joined the liberal Supreme Court justice. She's been the biggest flop and the biggest disappointment in American history.
Senator Mike Lee voiced his disappointment on X, while Elon Musk weighed in, calling the ruling an example of suicide empathy and a threat to civilization. This isn't the first time Barrett has fallen out of favor with the far right, but in March, she voted against the Trump-backed plan to freeze foreign aid, prompting accusation that she was appointed for diversity opt rather than a merit at the time. Trump distanced himself with the controversy, saying that he wasn't aware of the criticism and calling Barrett a very smart and very good woman.
I'm not going to believe this betrayal. Coney Barrett, who is Trump's own pick for Supreme Court Justice, just sided against him in a shocking decision that's going to cost us billions of dollars. Let's break it down. Trump has been fighting hard since he got into office to stop the reckless spending of our tax dollars on corrupt foreign governments. Recently, he tried to stop $2 billion from going out. Money that should have been used for us, for our border crisis, for our economy, for our struggling families in our country. You know, America first, what a concept. But guess who stepped in and said no? Coney Barrett. The same person that he fought tooth and nail to get into the Supreme Court as a new Supreme Court justice during his last term as president is siding with the globalists and allowing this massive waste of money to go out to foreign governments. Once again, putting America last. Who is she working for? Because it certainly doesn't seem to be us. This isn't just disappointing. This is a straight up betrayal. Conservatives stood behind Coney Barrett thinking that she was going to protect America First values. Now, with one decision, she shows us where she really stands. This raises serious questions. Is she just another swamp creature in disguise? Is this another case of a conservative justice caving to the will of the establishment? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. How do you feel about Amy Coney Barrett? Are you happy about this decision? Or are you thinking more along the lines of what I'm thinking? And don't forget to like and share and follow me for more, because, you know, the mainstream media isn't going to tell you this. So thank you and have a great day.
I never thought I'd be saying this about a Trump-appointed Supreme Court justice. But the fact that MAGA is so mad at Amy Coney Barrett for going against Donald Trump, it just shows how small and weak-minded these people are. That they don't understand nuance and how sometimes dear leader isn't always right. And he assigned someone who can see both sides, who can be unbiased, who won't say, yes, sir. Isn't that what we want? Is people who will be unbiased and make the best decisions for this country? Isn't that what we want? This just shows how ridiculous MAGA is. This just shows how insane MAGA is. Like, if you spend any time on Twitter, which I recommend you don't, it is a cesspool over there. Nothing but racism, misogyny, and not just from men, from women. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare over there. And there's people calling Amy Coney Barrett a traitor. Like, that is pure insanity. Pure insanity.
So yes, guys, there you go. The Trump clan, the MAGAs, are against this thing of illegal aliens being deported to El Salvador. But despite that, I have my own disappointments today whereby my team lost. And I blame this guy because he didn't do his job. He's a traitor. But despite that, guys, let's look at what the Trump clan, the MAGAs, have to say in terms of their disappointment of what Mrs. Barrett had done.
MAGAs are calling conservative Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett a DEI hire after she ruled against Trump in the USAID case. So if Amy is a DEI hire and Trump appointed Amy, that would make Trump an orange-haired, tampon-loving, beta soy boy libtard. That's just math. I don't make the rules. I'm like a Supreme Court justice. I just enforce them. Unlike Clarence Thomas, who just does what the bribes say. Well, that means if you worship Trump and he is a orange-haired, tampon-loving, soy boy, beta male libtard, that would make you a cuck. Orange-haired, tampon-loving, soy boy, beta male libtard. Orange-haired, tampon-loving, soy boy, beta male libtard. That's just math.
All right, everybody, we have a late night SCOTUS ruling. This is the Alien Enemies Act lawsuit that I have been watching like a hawk, okay? This is the one that earlier today that Justice Roberts put in an administrative stay. Let me break this down for you. When it comes to the Alien Enemies Act, the justices did not make a ruling on that. Only thing that they made a ruling on was which court that the plaintiffs needed to file their lawsuit in. Obviously, this lawsuit originated from the DC Court Circuit. They said that was incorrect. It should have started in Texas, which is where the plaintiffs were being held. Okay. So basically, what does this mean? This means that the Trump administration can decide the jurisdiction, because they can just take the people away from their hometown. And let's say that they take someone from San Francisco, they can fly them down to Texas and be detained there. And then that is where that lawsuit needs to originate from. That's basically what that means. And it's really what they've been doing. If you notice, people are being sent to Louisiana and they're being sent to Texas. Now, to the second part of the ruling, all 9 justices, the other one was 5-4, by the way, all 9 justices agreed that there has to be due process, period, full stop. That even if the Trump administration is properly using the Alien Enemies Act, there has to be due process. And that due process has to be a real due process, meaning that the plaintiffs have to have the ability to actually file suit. Okay? And they basically said that they can challenge the Alien Enemies Act. They can challenge any part of this deportation. They have a right to be heard. They can challenge these allegations, and they can also challenge the act itself. So what that basically means is the ACLU can get to work, and all these other organizations and attorneys can get to work on originating a lawsuit from Texas or from the place in which the folks were held or are being held. And then they can challenge from that direction. So this is not over. I know it's not fantastic, and it does not at all address the folks that are already in El Salvador, because they didn't reach the decision on that yet, because ultimately if it originates in an incorrect circuit, that means that this court doesn't have jurisdiction. So they've got to start in Texas and basically start all over again. This is an emergency process. So it does go a little bit faster than a trial, let's say. But nonetheless, what does worry me is the days that go by, the more dangerous this is likely to be for the people that are being held captive in El Salvador. But there is still a fight. And I do like the fact that all 9 justices sided on due process. They sided on the right side of the law with due process. I do like that. And my hope is ultimately that when this does get back up to the Supreme Court on the actual constitutionality of the Alien Enemies Act being declared right now through like a gang and not war, not real war, or really a nation, right? I mean, a gang is not a nation. That the court will come down correctly on that. Anyway, I have to get this out to you. Stay strong. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, guys, you heard what they say, but despite that, yes, me, I'm not for this ruling whereby all illegal aliens should be deported to El Salvador. What if the person is not a criminal in the first place? Just because he is affiliated with a certain type of people, now we accuse them of being gang affiliated, and now we have to send them to die in a foreign country like El Salvador. Despite that, guys, yes, that's my opinion. Yes, please like and subscribe, and let's meet up to the next one. Peace out.